I wish to be the greatest one, unlike all those before. Capturing them is my true challenge, teaching them's what I'm for. I will journey throughout the world, seeking high and low. Help pocket monsters to comprehend the talents deep below. Pocket monsters gotta get each one, it's you and me. I know it was meant to be. Pocket monsters, ooh, we're BFFs in a world we must protect. Pocket monsters gotta get each one, a soul so pure. Our bravery will make us sure. You learn, I learn, we'll learn some more. Pocket monsters, gotta get each one, gotta get each one. Pocket monsters. I don't know if what I just did was copyright infringement, but can't be any worse than this. Ba-da-ba-ba-da-ba-ba. Hello, homies. Welcome to Thumb Together. My name is Andrew Fantasia, and today we're going to be talking about Pokemon Detective Pikachu Together. As usual, if you enjoyed this video, please feel free to give it a thumbs up and give some love to that subscribe button as well. Guys, I don't want to alarm any of you, but I think this might be the best video game movie ever made. And I know that's not saying much. And I'm still not saying that this movie is incredible. It's not an A+ movie. It's not even an A-. It's more like a B-. But that's how low the bar is, people. This is still, as far as I'm concerned, the best video game movie ever made. Interpret that information however you choose. Now, I've never been a fan of the Pokemon games. Turn-based RPGs in general, I'm not huge in love with, and the fact that Nintendo makes you buy 2 games, I'm just like, sorry, but nope. I've never been a fan of the anime. I don't like anime in general, and this is one of the most annoying ones I've ever seen in my life. So, no on that either. The only thing I really got into was the cards, and I still have them from back in the day. I mean, everybody got into the cards back then. And I didn't even play the game. I just kind of collected this shit, you know? I was just kind of like, ooh, they're pretty colors, and one of them is a rock, and that was about it, really. I liked the cards. FYI, I'm missing like a bunch of these because I didn't really collect them seriously. I just kind of dabbled. But the only one I really care about is Alakazam, so if anybody has an Alakazam they don't want anymore, yo, send it my way. So Pokemon and we never really got along all that well. I mean, we'd be cordial to one another at parties, but it wasn't like, you know, we'd see each other and rush into a loving embrace. So why was I so excited for Pokemon Detective Pikachu? I was so excited because that initial trailer blew my friggin' mind. And I was down 100% for anything this movie was going to give me. I love the aesthetic of it. I mean, when you look at the images in this film, the whole film noir style they gave it, there's so much dark neon splashed light, like it just looks so friggin' cool. The colors and the visual design of Rhyme City, where this takes place, spot on, baby. Spot on. I love this. I hope that, you know, going forward, they're planning on making a lot of these Pokemon movies. I hope they all have this same neon-y noir aesthetic, because it looks magnifique. The plot is exactly what you saw in the trailers. You know, there's a missing guy, and his son teams up with a Pikachu to try to find the guy, and it's a mystery. And the mystery takes some twists and turns. Are those twists and turns kind of dumb and weird? Yes. Yes, they are. Because it's Pokemon, and Pokemon is, you know, in essence, kind of dumb and weird. However, that will not, hopefully, spoil your enjoyment. And I will say this, the twists and turns of the mystery in the film are so outlandishly dumb and weird that I can almost guarantee you will not see them coming. You will not. If anybody out there sees the last twist of this movie coming, I will applaud them, because that is some next level predictive shit you got going on up there. How many Pokemon are in this movie? Well, look, it's been a while since I've, been, with my finger on the Pokemon pulse. I don't know how many there are now. I think there's like 1,000. I don't know. When I was growing up, it was 150, and then it was 250, and I was like, okay, 250 is cool. And now there's a lot, and I'm not complaining. I just don't know them all anymore. And there was a bunch in this movie that I know and a bunch that I didn't know. If I had to hazard a guess, I'd say we see about maybe like 70 or 80 different types of Pokemon in there. Obviously, Pikachu gets the front row center. Psyduck is in it a lot. There's a lot of Growlithe. You see Growlithe like everywhere. He's all over this movie. And then a bunch of the other, random ones here and there. My boy Gengar is in the movie. That's all I cared about. He's the only Pokemon that I love to pieces, so I'm just glad we got to see Gengar. There we go. I can walk away happy. It'll be interesting to watch this video on some kind of medium where I can freeze frame it so that I can just try to see how many different Pokemon I can pick out. It's kind of like a Where's Waldo book, because when you get to those crowd scenes, baby, there's Pokemon everywhere. They're on buildings, hanging onto signs, walking down the street, just coming out of somebody's ass. They're all over the place. There's Pokemon all over this movie. I'm not going to spoil anything. Maybe in the future I'll talk about it and what it might mean and everything. But what I have to ask, the question at the forefront of my mind now is, they want to make more of these. There's a lot of world building in this film, which I like. There's a lot of talk behind the scenes of like they're already greenlighting a sequel. They're already thinking of ideas for a Pokemon cinematic universe, and I'm cool with that because this was fun. If they only get better from here, I'm on board. However, something happens at the end of this movie that makes it so that if there is a sequel to this, it would have to be very, very different, wouldn't it? And if you saw the film, you know what I'm talking about. So I'm really curious to hear what the filmmakers have in mind. There's a lot of different places you could take the Pokemon story. From what I gather, this plot will not be visited again. The sequels will move on to other uncharted territory, and that's fine. But if you got attached to this, don't get too attached to this. That's all I'm saying. Speaking of the world building, it's great. It is. They do a terrific job with it. However, I think they could have gone even a few steps further. They really set up this great sort of dynamic between humans and Pokemon, and it almost has this whole like Philip Pullman Dark Materials vibe where like every human is kind of expected to have a Pokemon partner with them, and if you see a human who doesn't, it's like, oh, they're weird. Look at them. That guy's just walking around without Pokemon. What's up with that? And the city that it takes place in, Rhyme City, is a place where there are no battles or trainers or anything. It's just a world where humans live their daily lives and Pokemon also live their daily lives. And that's it. Nobody's making each other fight. So they have this really cool dynamic where even within the world of Pokemon, which is just this violent place where these 12-year-olds run around skipping school, making animals beat each other up, here comes a city where they're like, no, we ain't having that. You just live in peace and let those Pokemon live in peace too. So it already kind of creates all these ideas in my head of like places this world could go. What are other areas like? How do other areas, feel about a place like Rhyme City? Is there any sort of like cross-pollination between the two? Like, do they get along? I'd love to know. And then, the whole idea of Pokemon trainers in general and that whole thing, you barely scratch that. So there's some room to talk about that too. They bring up the whole like fossilized Pokemon. You know how there's like ancient Pokemon who have gone extinct, like Mew, and they find like fossils of them in caves that are like thousands of years old and stuff. So they really dug into the lore, into the good, juicy stuff, the stuff that makes the Pokemon story interesting, while telling a very original story with them. I mean, it would have been so easy for them to just be like, this guy, Justice Smith, is just walking around catching Pokemon and making them fight. But here's the thing. That's the game and that's the show. And as far as this guy's concerned, neither of them are very great. So do this. Do something where you tell grown-up stories in this world and you don't have to be bogged down by the, let's face it, very plotless story of the games, of the show. And as an added bonus, this annoying mother effer is nowhere to be seen in this movie. That's right, you can put away your torches and pitchforks because you don't have to worry about him showing up to ruin your day. Thank you, filmmakers. For that alone, you have my undying love. So Pokemon Detective Pikachu is not great, but it is quite good. There's lots of room for improvement. Some of the funniest parts of this movie were, maybe I'm biased, but the really adult parts, the really sort of risque parts where the kids are like, I don't get it, and their parents on either side of them are laughing their asses off. I want more of that. I want them to go even more adult with this concept, because that's where the humor really shines. We've seen countless years of annoying kids running around just making these things fight. You know, I hate to call it this because it sounds petty and stupid, but give us the big boy version. Give us the big adult version of Pokemon and really just sort of let loose with that concept. I know it must have been hard for Ryan Reynolds to keep it PG. He kept it PG. But, you know, you're going to hear Pikachu in this movie say the words hell and damn, and it's going to be great. And he infuses the character with so much life and vitality that it doesn't feel like gratuitous. It doesn't feel like he's just saying words to get that damn PG rating. No, he's saying it because that's the kind of character he is. So go all the way with this concept for the sequel. Like, just make it like Burton's Batman with Pokemon. Like, really just embrace the goofiness of it, but keep it pulpy and noir-y, and just give us something we've never seen before. There is a lot of room to grow with this silly, silly concept, but my God, they didn't hit a home run for their first at-bat, but they got to like second base. So I'm excited to see where the Pokemon franchise goes next. I'll definitely see the next film, whatever they have in store, as long as he's not around in it. Bring it on, baby. Bring on this other cinematic universe. We need to get some good, high-quality cinematic universes that don't belong to Disney. We need it. Healthy competition in the film industry is good. So please, let this be a thing. All right, that's Pokemon Detective Pikachu. I'm Andrew Fantasia. Thank you so much for watching Thumb Together with me today. I will see you here next time, and until then, adios.